While headed north through the southern Sierra Nevada mountains, I became aware of a local hot springs that is hidden in the valley and shared by the community. Miracle Hot Springs. These hot springs are rumored to offer a variety of health benefits, including, but not limited to, boosting blood circulation, improving skin irritations, and allowing one's body to detox similarly to a sauna, but with natural minerals. During this time of year, California tends to get some rain, though most of us were not expecting to get this much, and when weather hits California, many of the main roads become shut down. I just so happened to be headed straight towards the closures. Being that I couldn't go any further and now had no time constraint, I decided to try and find these notorious hot springs. Even through all of the wind and rain, this was a very peaceful journey. The road was narrow and windy, sometimes leading me under boulders and tree roots to then appear on a beautiful mountainside. Finally, there was a pull-off with a sign. This is the entry point for Remington Springs and is also the starting point to a 1.5 mile hike to Miracle Hot Springs, which, at the time, I thought was a lot closer. Another thing I was blissfully unaware of is that in severe weather, these tubs not only fill up, becoming nearly invisible, but is also a very dangerous hike. The Miracle Hot Springs story begins in 1927 when John Hooper and his son Marion built their hotel just west of Hobo campgrounds. In 1942, John retired and sold out to his son and daughter-in-law, Marion and Sally Hooper. Marion and Sally needed help, and along came Ruby and Fred. The rest, as they say, is history. Marion, Sally, Fred, and Ruby kept the place running, changing the look from plain white to stone, and also changing the name to Miracle Hot Springs overnight. While maintaining and expanding the hot springs and campgrounds, Fred and Ruby found the time to raise a family. A post office was originally created as part of the store, then later moved across the street, where each Marion, Sally, Fred, and Ruby served as Postmaster General for a time. At this time, people from all over California came to stay at Miracle Hot Springs. They again expanded the campgrounds to 50 spots and were fully booked almost every night. They also held dances, which attracted a younger crowd and started a holiday tradition of visiting the springs. One year, in the 1970s, Fred and Ruby had gone on vacation. During that trip, someone had set fire to the Miracle Hot Springs building. Fred and Ruby got a call from their son and immediately left for home. The building was beyond repair, so the family moved into the small building across the street. Later, in the 1980s, they sold the property and moved away. At this time, much of the campground had been taken over by the Forest Services. For more information on that, check out my video on Hobo Campground, linked in the description. The original building was then completely demolished, including the former post office, though the actual hot springs were left mostly untouched and, for the most part, kept a local secret. In recent years, some think because of the lockdowns, more people have been flocking to these springs and causing issues. From dumping trash to doing drugs, rangers and locals agreed that things were getting out of hand. Unfortunately, in October of 2022, someone was found deceased in one of the tubs at Miracle Hot Springs, leading to crime scene cleanup and the temporary closures of the tubs. Or at least, that's what locals were told. Being courteous and respectful to both investigators and the victim's family Many people heeded the warnings and steered clear of the area for some time. After some time had passed, one longtime hot springer decided to call up the forestry department to check on the cleanup. The lead ranger, Alfred Watson, reportedly told the man that the tubs were open and okay to use despite some minor damage. So the man packed up his car and took the 4-hour journey to his favorite hot springs. When the man arrived at the hot springs, he couldn't believe his eyes. To be clear, this was uploaded by Hammerhands on November 5th, 2022. After seeing this, I did a search to see how the people feel about Ranger Alfred Watson's job. I think this says it all. Further searching led me to find a public meeting discussing the destruction of Miracle Hot Springs 12/3/22, a live stream from Richmond Family Vlogs. In this video, community members are searching for answers about the demolition. They had been promised a cleanup with minimal damage and returned only to find the 5 main tubs smashed, seemingly with a sledgehammer, and no one was allowed into the tubs. This ranger gave a plethora of reasons for the closure, and very last was the most recent death. He claims the concrete used to build the tubs is an environmental hazard. I guess broken concrete is much safer. Social media hype quadrupled visitors, rangers are short-staffed, crime rising in specific areas, and then finally, the fatality in October. He also told the people that these tubs were built illegally, though they were here long before the U.S. Forest Department was even established. One regular pointed out that there may have been ancient bedrock mortar in these springs that is now destroyed. If that is true, this could be a serious offense committed by the Forestry Services. Unless someone comes forward with photo documentation, we may never know for sure. But these hot springs have been used for centuries by native tribes, and the ranger acknowledges this fact only to dismiss it in his next breath. For example, the lesser-known Tuatolobo people called the Kern River their homeland far before modern historians began to document the area. Only a few hundred Tuatolobo people still live here and are seeking federal recognition. As these springs are free and easily accessible, the U.S. Forest Service has been considering closing them. In response, many volunteers clean and try to protect these springs from closure, including the Kern River Hot Springs Angels, who regularly schedule cleanups, gatherings, and meetings with Forestry Services, as well as posting updates online. According to their page, the hot springs will be fully submerged all summer due to the abnormal amount of snow this year. There is another meeting scheduled for the near future. No dates were given. The community members are ready to come back. From the Hot Springs Angels to organizations being formed legally to preserve and ensure this space, and even individuals picking up rocks and supplies to rebuild themselves. The community stated that they are ready to police the area themselves, more than happy to fill out National Environmental Registration Protection Act, and will comply with engineering specs regarding outflow, so long as it is community run, because there seems to be a clear trend in this area. I wish I were able to truly visit Miracle Hot Springs and take in all of the beauty that the area has to offer. Many friendships are made at springs like this, with the U.S. Forest Department being so sledge heavy at the whim of local law enforcement. One can see it's only a matter of time before the entire valley is erased from history and these experiences ceased. Dedicated to all those who have made Miracle Springs what it once was and will always be, a place of peace, wonder, and beauty, may we all be a part of the rebuild and keep the experience alive. Kern River Hot Springs Angel Facebook page, along with articles and music, will be linked in the description, as always. Have you ever been here or heard of this place? What are your thoughts on the demolition of Miracle Hot Springs? Do you have any ideas on how we can help bring it back? Please let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, and maybe even tell a friend. Thank you for hanging out, and I'll see you next week.